Okay, so I'm going to just quickly make a video on the 4 methods that our 4th grade students are learning to multiply 2 by 2 or 3 by 2 digit numbers. So I'm actually going to start out with partial product. And I did make a video before, however, for some reason the audio and the video part were out of sync. So I decided to just scrap it and we're going to start over. So here I kind of have my problem. I'm just doing a 2 by 2, but this obviously applies to 3 by 2 as well. Oops. Here we go, product. Great. So this is the first strategy. This is very similar to the standard algorithm. What you want to do is you're going to line up your numbers, ones in the ones place, tens and tens, so on and so forth. And you're going to multiply in this order. 6 times 9, 6 times 50, because that 5 is really a 50. Then you're going to multiply 20 times 9, 20 times 50, in that order. Let's start 6 times 9. So 6 times 9, when I do that, that gives me 54. Then I'm going to say 6 times 50, 300. Then I'm going to say 20 times 9, 180. Then I'm going to say 20 times 50, and that gives me 1,000. All of these are considered the partial product. They're part of the entire product or the entire answer. So now we can just add it. And like I said, it's similar to what we do, which is actually called standard algorithm or multiplying with regrouping. But this kind of breaks it up into place value systems instead. So now we can add. That'll give me 4. That will give me 13. Carry the 1. And there's your product. Okay, now so that was partial product. The other one that a lot of the kids really like and that I encourage students who are struggling to use, just because it's a really good visual representation, is area model. So area model, we're going to use the same 2 factors, 59 and 26. Area model, the first thing you want to do is create a rectangle. It doesn't really matter what size it is, just something you can work with, okay? Something that you can write numbers in comfortably. And you're going to break up each factor into its place values. And what I mean by that is that 59 you can break up into 50 and 9. That's expanded form. 26 you would break up into 20 and 6. Then you're just going to break that up, 50 and 9, 20 and 6, so you're going to end up with 4 boxes. You can always do this with more numbers. If you had a 3-digit number, you would just break it up into its hundreds place, its tens place, and its ones place. And you can do that for all of them as long as you break up the sections. Okay? So now what you're going to do is you're going to say, okay, let's fill in the number for this box, which is 20 times 50. You're going to be multiplying those outer factors and writing the product in here. So 20 times 50 will give me 1,000. 20 times 9 will give me 180. I can do 50 times 6, and that's going to give me 300. And then 6 times 9, which will give me 54. And what you'll notice is the numbers that you're getting in these boxes are pretty much exactly the same thing, but for some reason, and I think it's just the way that it's organized and that it is with these boxes, a lot of kids prefer this method to partial product, and that's totally fine. You're going to get the product anyways. It's not a rush or anything, and they'll get better and better and faster with this, and eventually we can move them up to multiplying with regrouping if they're comfortable. Okay, and then you're just going to go ahead, like last time, and you'll add all of your numbers that are inside your area model together. See? Same product. Same thing. It's just a little easier. It's a little different, and it still works because it uses a lot of multiplicative properties. All right, so this was my first two, and these are, frankly, these are my favorite, and they're what most of the kids are comfortable with, but I know a lot of the adults are not necessarily comfortable with because we weren't taught that way. I know I wasn't taught this way. But let's go on to the more traditional ones. So I'm going to use the same numbers, 59 and 26. Okay. The other way you can do this is called distributive. I also called it FOIL. But really it's called a distributive property. Okay? And again, you can do this with a 3-digit by 2-digit. You can do this with a 2-digit by 1-digit. It doesn't matter. All of these methods work no matter what amount of numbers you have. Okay? So the way FOIL works, you don't actually have to write it up and down. You can just keep your product side to side like this. And what you're going to do is you're going to say this number times this number times this, then this times this, and this times this. So in other words, you're going to say 50 times 2 plus 50, I'm so sorry, that's not a 2, sorry, 50 times 20, my bad, 50 times 20 because that 2 is in the tens place, I apologize. And then you're going to say plus 50 times 6. Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take over here. You have your 9 times 20 and 9 times 6. And this one, it's 9 times 6 because it's in its ones place. Once you have that, it's an expanded form. You're using its distributive property. Okay, so you do 50 times 20, which we already said is 1,000. 50 times 6, 300. 9 times 20 will give you 180. And 9 times 6, 54. And from previous experience, we know if we add all of those up, you're going to get 1,534.